Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully, you're having a good week. It's another Thursday. We're already through most of the week. Crazy to think. Like I say every week, it's nuts how fast this year is flying by. I can't believe that we're already into August and we're getting closer to the middle of August, which is absolutely nuts. So, before we get into today's episode, just want to let you know this episode brought to you by Titleist and the brand new T Series irons. I know I talked about him last week, or the previous, or the last week. Sat around with Josh Talge and Marnie Inez, and we kind of chatted about all the different ones. It was really cool. If you didn't check out last week's episode, please do. But this episode brought to you by the T-Series irons. And the evolution of T-Series advances Titleist even further in our mission to produce the best irons in the world. New materials, new processes, and new refinements power new precision that must be felt to believe. Each model is an instrument of exacting performance, passed from our Titleist R&D to tour pros to you. Titleist T-Series, precision made, precision played. Go to Titleist.com and check out the brand new T-Series. If you guys don't know, if you haven't listened to the past couple shows, you know that I've been gaming T200, T150, a little combo set, 4-5 iron in the T200, and then T150 in the 6 through pitch. So been gaming a lot of those and pretty happy with them. Played pretty well this week. I'm going to go to Titleist.com, check it out, see if we can do a Titleist fitting. They're fun. I had a great time doing mine. Just a blast getting to hit all sorts of different equipment and stuff like that. Just had a whole lot of fun. So got fit there. And then this weekend was my weekend. It was the big golf trip, the big golf outing, the contest, the Ryder Cup style weekend that we put on, myself and 15 other guys. Just an absolute blast. Every year, it seems like it gets more fun. Just gets a little bit smoother and all that. So, if you haven't followed the saga or you just started listening to the show, one, thank you, I appreciate it. Two, please follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. I'm trying to break 10,000 followers by the end of the year. It would be awesome to do so. But anyway, and I usually do my Q&As and every week and stuff like that over there. So please go follow me there. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, whatever. That would be great. But if you haven't followed along, I play in a little golf event. We call it the Sragwa. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the hat, SRAGGW. And it's a terrible acronym, but it stands for the Scott Rollman Annual Golf Guys Weekend. And Scott Roman was a very good friend of my brother and his buddies who kind of started this whole weekend golf trip. And he unfortunately passed away before he graduated high school. And just a good kid, just a funny kid, great baseball player, all that. So it's kind of fun that those guys memorialize him, and it was such a great, fun weekend. And then we also collect a little money for a little charity thing, a little scholarship thing that they do in his name as well. So I just have a blast being invited every year. I'm glad they do. This year, every year we do it, and every year there's 2 captains, and there's 2 teams, and 2 8-man teams, and we play little Ryder Cup style matches. And this year, I was fortunate enough to be a captain. I was selected this year to be one of the captains. The other one, a gentleman named Wes, one of our most dedicated guys. He flies up every year from North Carolina to play, and he's just one of the funniest, nicest guys also, too. So everybody loves playing with him. He's a great dude. So we had a great time. This year, went up to the northern part of Michigan to Bel Air, which is up in the northwest part of the Mitten, and we played Shanty Creek, which is a resort up there that's got, I think, 4 or 5 courses. And we went there, COVID years. I think it was like 2020. We went there, and they had the worst plastic little discs in the cup, and we made a rule that if the ball didn't stay in the hole, it didn't count, and there were 2-footers for birdie that were bouncing out of the cup. I mean, it was just an absolute nightmare. So this year was a little more fun. We definitely had a better time. Didn't have to worry about anything in the cups or anything like that. But we do a draft earlier in the year. Select our teams. We do team uniforms, or at least team polos, on Sunday. Usually, your captain, like myself, you'll ask to do wear a certain color pant if you have it to go with it. And yeah, we make it kind of fun like that. The rest of the week you can kind of wear whatever you want. And Some guys wear some pretty cool, wild stuff. We've got one guy, Drake, who's on my team, who likes to wear pants in the morning round, even though it's like 80 degrees. Doesn't care. He likes to go out there. And this year he had some pretty yellow pants one round, and but it's just a lot of fun. And then we basically put together matchups and play different formats. We played a two-man scramble, two-man shamble, two-man best ball, two-man modified alternate shot. And we kind of rotate those through on Friday, Saturday, and we play 36-36. So they're 9-hole matches. So like you'll do a 9-hole shamble, 9-hole best ball, and then in the afternoon you're playing another 9-hole alternate shot, 9-hole, which one did I miss? Whatever. So you're playing, 4 different formats and 4 different rounds, and then Sunday we get up, you play a full 18-hole match play against a person, and you play for points. Team with the most points wins, and you literally win nothing. It's pretty much bragging rights and some trash talk for the rest of the year, which has already started in our big text, email, and like Instagram DM chain. So already some trash being talked, and that's great. So a whole lot of fun. We have a bunch of guys who put it together, and it's awesome. So we do little bags of swag and stuff every year, and you get bag tags and towels and just teas and all sorts of little things for the event. So it's a whole lot of fun. We get closer to the pin prizes and stuff. We do a closer to the pin on each 18, so it's a good time. But this year we went to the draft early. I know right after the draft, which I think we did in like June, end of June. But I think we did it right before like 4th of July. So it was like the last week of like June we did the draft for the team. Everybody's was down on my team. Everybody from the other team was down on us, saying on paper we were going to lose. They had more talent at the top and through the middle of the team, and we were a little bit better at the bottom, but whatever. And I let them say whatever they want to say, because I was confident in who I was drafted. I was the second pick, because we did a little contest to see who got the first pick. I was second pick, and after that I just kind of reacted to who was available and took the best players I thought were available, and it worked out in our favor. We did win. So I was the captain of the winning team. I want to say a big thank you to all 7 guys. I'm gonna sit there and try and name. Just want to big thank you to Colin, BR, Ben, Drake, Hawley, Ryan, and why am I forget now? You get to the very end there, and it's like and Nick. We came out victorious. So we went through and played insanely well. There were a couple of rounds where guys had best 9s, best 18 scores that they've ever had when it came to they played a best ball or a 2-man best ball or something like that. It was pretty wild. It was the biggest it was the most lopsided Sraggle win in the history of the event, which this is the 8th one. I've been in 5 of them. I missed the first 3. I was with a different group playing, and it was crazy. We went out the first day, and I think the first day, I want to say out of what was it? So basically, there's 4 matches there, 4 matches. So basically, out of 12 matches, I think, by the first 9 or whatever, I think we tied 1. I think we lost 1 and tied 1 or something through the first day. It's like 16 matches. We hadn't even. We were way up, and then the next day they won a couple more, but we again played extremely well and took an even bigger lead, and then it basically turned into, I think on Sunday they would have had to win every match by at least 10 points or more, something like that, on top of whatever we won. They would have had to win by 60 over whatever we had or whatever, which was just mathematically possible, but it just wasn't very feasible. So yeah, we went through, and then on Sunday we played extremely well, and I think we won majority. I think we only lost I think we maybe 1 tied and lost 2 out of the 8 matches, and won the rest. So we played extremely well. Those guys played awesome. Everybody on my team played at their level or slightly better all weekend. I think the afternoon on Saturday there were a couple guys that might have had a beverage or two too many, and they kind of slipped and lost a few points there. But for the most part, we played amazing, and we gave them a thorough butt kicking. It was a whole lot of fun. So I kind of feel bad for some of those guys, but I kind of don't, because if I was if I was on the other team, I'd be catching crap from them. So it was a whole lot of fun. We played, like I said, really really well, and yeah, walked out with a pretty big win. So it was a whole lot of fun. And yes, for if you wanted to know, I know we kind of talked about what's in the bag. For my shirt that I picked from my Sunday single for my team was an Adam Scott inspiration, a Uniqlo that was like navy and like kind of a periwinkle blue, like twin blue, horizontal stripes. We went with that, and our swag guy who orders polos and does all that stuff for the group, his family business is in that. Found the actual almost identical Uniqlo shirt. It was an actual Uniqlo. The stripes were just a hair narrower than what Adam Scott was wearing, but almost exact. So we went with that and khakis, and the other team had kind of like a green camo, because Wes is a southern boy a little bit and a little bit of a country boy, so he went with kind of a green digital camo type look, and it was fun. It was a whole lot of it was a blast. So yeah, but what's in the bag ended up being, I played the same clubs Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. The only thing I changed out two clubs. So the what's in the bag for Friday, Saturday was Titleist TSR2 driver 10 degree with the Fujikura Ventus TR Blue 6X. And then I had the Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond 3 wood with a Fujikura Speeder NX 70X, the Ping G430 Max 7 wood, set down one and flat or something like that. I think down 1.5 and flat. And then also that's got a Fujikura Ventus TR Blue 8 stiff. And then we got into the Ping I crossover 4-iron with the stock Ping 2.0 Tour 85 stiff shaft in it. I do set that one up 1 degree and flat, so that one's up, or no, just up 1 degree. I think it's the standard, just up 1 degree. And then we moved to the Titleist T200 5-iron, and then T150 6-through pitching wedge, and those had Aerotech steel fiber I110s in there and stiff. And then wedges were Cleveland RTX 6 50 56 60. So had those in the bag, played those, and played really really well. And then on Sunday, I actually switched out 3 wood only because some epoxy broke loose in the shaft, and it was just rattling around, and it was just kind of annoying. It wasn't didn't hurt performance, didn't hurt anything there. It was just kind of annoying as I used it. So I switched that out and I put my TSR2 3 wood set to D1, which I think is down 0.75 degrees, with a Ventus TR Red 7X in there, so that went in. And then I actually switched out the sandwich at the very end to the PXG Sugar Daddy 2 54 degree, 13 degrees of bounce, the BP grind, the Bob Parsons grind. And the reason I did that actually was I had hit a few, so the 3 wood, as I said, was switched out because the epoxy. And then the sandwich, it was honestly because a few shots I just was coming up and out of the shot. Like I was kind of early extending, which I just do, and then coming up and out of the shot, and I was hitting a lot of wedge shots thin, especially those like 30-yard shots just short of the green and stuff like that. I was coming up and hitting them really thin. And I'd recently played that Sugar Daddy 2 over in League, and I just had a confidence with it. You could just kind of slam it into the turf, and that 13 degrees of bounce, and the way the sole design, it would just kind of bounce off the turf, and it wouldn't dig, and you could just hit these little kind of like nipped pitch shots. And so I threw that in for Sunday, and it worked out really well. I hit a lot of, I hit a handful of those shots that worked out way better with that wedge than I did the actual RTX 656. So I think it's a thing of just working with it and trusting it, but I threw that in, and on Sunday, I think I won my singles match. Man, what was it, like 15.5 to 4.5 or something like that? It was a pretty big win, and most of that happened right out of the gate on the front 9. Unfortunately, Wes, who was playing amazing golf all weekend, Friday and Saturday, played some just amazing golf. He just, I think, ran out of gas. And on Sunday, it just the front nine got away from him. I think there's 10 points on each side, and I think I won 8.5 to 1.5. And then on the back, he won 3 points, and I won another 6 or something like that, or 7. And he walked out and got the first 3 points. At the first 3 holes, I hit drives out of bounds, or a driver second shot out of bounds in the first 3 holes, lost all first 3, so I was down 3, and then I pretty much won everything after that, which was kind of a bummer to go that way. I was really hoping it would be kind of a close match, but I hit the ball really well. I played really well on Sunday. I shot 38 on the front. I don't remember what I shot on the back, but I don't think that I shot like 80. I shot 80-something. I shot a little worse on the back just because those first couple holes I made, double bogeys on those. But it was fun. It was a good time. And, unfortunately for those boys, took a beating. Sorry. But I'm a winning captain. My name, when we found out that the trophy actually went into storage, one of the guys as a storage locker was renovating his house. Somehow it's in there, and he doesn't know where it is. So he's got to wait until his house is done, get all the boxes and stuff out of the storage, and then we'll have the trophy, and our names will be on there as the 2023 champions. So whole lot of fun. Almost witnessed a hole-in-one. My guy Colin on this par 3 with a ton of elevation just hit down. I want to say I think he lasered it like 165 or 170, and it played at like 130, 135. It was straight downhill. He hit it to, I think they said 2 inches. It was 2 inches away. And it looked like when it hit, it kind of started peeling left, or it hit long and started spun back left, and we all thought it went in. There was them on the tee box. We had just pulled up there and watched that shot, and we thought it was going in, and we were going crazy, and it just stopped. They walked down there. They said it was less than 2 inches, and the way it, from where the ball mark was and kind of where it ended, it must have. They said it must have rolled over the edge. It must have been that close. So pretty cool to see that. I hit one that never left the flag stick that we thought was going to be pretty special. It ended up being like 5 feet behind the hole, but it was a whole lot of fun, just a blast. And if you're got a group of guys, whatever that like to play golf, even guys who don't play a ton of golf, it's just a lot of fun to go and hang out, and then afterwards, go get some dinner, have a beverage or two, hang out, tell some jokes, tell some stories, whatever, and it's just a whole lot of fun. So if you do have a group of guys or a handful or whatever, even if it's not 16, if it's 4 or whatnot, I would suggest doing a trip. It's just a blast. You have a whole lot of fun, and each year, as we said, each year at ours, it's gotten better and better, and we've had more and more fun, and things just seem to go smoother and smoother. And as we've gotten a little older, the partying's slowed down, and guys go to bed earlier and stuff like that. I remember the first year seeing a couple guys stay up to like 4 a.m., hearing stories of guys who never went to bed and stuff like that. Just kind of going nuts, but not anymore. I think everybody there is for the most part, other than one young guy or something like that. I mean, everybody has kids, everybody is married or whatever. It's definitely slowed down a little bit, but it's still a really, really good time. So had a blast. Appreciate everybody who followed along. I know I didn't post a lot from playing, but you're just playing. And especially like that Friday morning match, it was close. It was great golf. I don't remember I think we were playing, was it 2-man best ball and then 2-man scramble or something? I don't know. But either way, if you didn't make par, a par is basically having the hole. If you didn't make a birdie or something like that, even par won a few holes, but we were having everything on pars. Birdies won. Here and there, you would win a hole on a par because somebody would make a bogey. But we never had one of those like, oh, my double bogey is better than your triple bogey and all that. It just didn't happen. So a lot of good golf that was played, and just a whole lot of fun. So Shaney was a lot better. It definitely, they've got a new course up there called Hawk's Eye, which is really nice. The Shush Mountain course is still one of my least favorites. It's just all dog legs. You spend more time standing on the tee box trying to figure out how far you can hit it, how far you need to hit it, than you do just playing golf. So not my favorite, but much better this year without the COVID stuff. So just in all a really good time. I want to say thank you to everybody who kind of followed along and were kind of encouraging and all that. It was an absolute blast. So had a whole lot of fun. Like I said, what's in the bag didn't change much. Didn't even change putters out, which a lot of times I'll change putters for like a certain round, but I didn't. And then putter, I don't think I talked about, but putter was my Bettinardi BB8W, and then I played Pro V1X and lost a ton of them. So I want to say that I lost 24 balls in 90 holes. Actually, 90 plus. I went up early, played on Thursday. We went up and played the Chief up there on Thursday. There was like 12 of us who went up and played there. So I lost a couple balls there. But between basically 108 holes, I think it is, 90 plus 18, 108 holes, I think I lost 24 golf balls, which is a good amount. So there's 24 Pro V1Xs up there in Bel Air, Michigan, around Shanty Creek that are out there for you to find if you want to dig through the woods. They're not, I don't think any of them hit the water, but a lot of them are in the woods. So if you're up there tromping around or whatever, there's a lot. There's a bunch in there, and they're Pro V1Xs. They're probably mine. So a whole lot of fun there, and like I said, thank you for everybody for following along and the encouragement and all that. I know a couple people asked how do you get into the waiting list and stuff, and from what I've heard, there's a handful of people out there on the waiting list. So I think this is kind of one of those invite only type of competitions, but a lot of fun. So played up there. I know I've got the I-230s with Axioms going in them. That is like I'm working on it. The 4-iron's pulled. I pulled the rest of the heads now since I've got back, but I just didn't have time to put the Axioms in there before I left. So those are going to get done very shortly. I still got to pull the shafts out of the Vega heads and prep the tips and all that. But since then, we've got a lot of new stuff come out, so I'm going to be working on that as well. I'm going to do my kind of initial talk today about the new TaylorMade P790 or 790s. The new P790 is out, and it looks really good. I think TaylorMade did a great job with this iron, and I kind of hit a few of these today in my net against the P770 that came out just a little bit ago, and then I'm going to take these 770s out tomorrow, play in my league, and kind of play a full round with them. So I'm also excited. We've got new stuff from Callaway out as well, the new Apex Pro Series stuff. So Apex Pro CB, Apex MB, and then Apex Utility, as well as a brand new Apex UW utility wood. So a lot of cool stuff from them. Unfortunately with them, I only have 7 irons. So I was hitting them in my net today a little bit, but I'll go again, hit them on the range so I can see some ball flight and stuff like that. But just taking a bunch of random 7 irons to the course to go play just doesn't work. That's just not a great way to review stuff. So not going to do that. But I will take them out, hit them in my net and stuff, maybe get some numbers and hit them a little bit more again, so I can kind of get a few more swings than just the. I did basically 10 shots of each one of the irons, and then I did about 15 shots each of the P770, P790. So I was hitting a good amount of those, and then I'm going to take the 790s out to the course tomorrow in the league, or today, I guess, if you're listening today. I'm recording this Wednesday night, but I'm going to take them out and play a full round with them and see how they go, because so far just hitting them on the mat, really like them. And I think it's pretty cool. The internal of these things is pretty interesting, that they're either using AI and some other stuff to kind of create the internal structure of these irons. And it's pretty interesting that when you look at the pitching wedge and the 9-iron, there's really not much to look at. It's just kind of a hollow body to see the kind of the casted back there, and then there's a face welded on. So not a whole lot there, not a bunch of tungsten, anything like that. It's just pretty plain, simple on the inside cavity, and that's the 9-inch pitching wedge. And I would assume the approach wedge and stuff as well would be the similar in that similar boat. And then when you get up to, I think it's the 9, so it's that 9 pitch wedge. I'd have to double check the 8-iron, what that looks like. But Then you get into the 7 iron, 6 iron, and you start seeing a much more intricate internal structure, where they're basically using, what they're trying to do is just manipulate the CG. The shorter irons raise that CG a little bit up for a little flatter ball flight, a little more controlled, and then as you go up in the set, you're getting a lower CG for higher ball flight and easier launch and stuff like that. So in here you can see if you're watching this on YouTube especially, you can kind of see inside the head. And then it also, out in the toe, has a 36.7 gram weight in there as well. So in there's a tungsten weight out in the toe, kind of a honeycomb structure up near the top of the head. And everything here is just done to basically adjust CG while still reinforcing and making this head, very very playable, very strong. And then the whole thing is filled with the Speed Foam Air 2, which is their lighter foam. So it has a softer feel, sound, all that. And then again, if you're watching here on YouTube, there's the 4 iron. So the 3 and 4 iron kind of have this similar structure where you see this kind of rib run through the middle, some of that honeycomb pattern up on the top as well. And then I think it's 33.3 grams of tungsten, kind of low and down in the head. So a pretty cool thing where they've designed these with a whole lot of internal structure that you'll never see, because it's all covered by a face and also then filled with foam. But pretty interesting to see the work that goes into the inside of these heads, and to see how they use it to manipulate the CG on each head. So every head looks a little bit different, which is pretty awesome. And then each one has a good old chunk of tungsten in there, and you can actually, the tungsten even comes out, little blocks of it, and it is definitely heavy. So I got some heavy pieces of tungsten here, but a very cool design by them. And loft wise, they're definitely a little strong, but they're not crazy strong. Like, they're not T400 strong, which I think T400 before was like a 38 degree pitching wedge, and these definitely don't play off that. So with the new 790s, the pitching wedge is still 45 degrees, which is relatively standard nowadays, if not considered weak for an iron like the 790. And then when you get to the 7 iron, it's up to 30.5, which is a little strong. And then when you get to a 4 iron, it's 21 degrees, and a 3 iron 19. So a little strong on the upper or the lower irons, the 3, the 4. When you get down to those higher irons there, it goes back to kind of standard. And if you compare to the 770, 770 again plays off a 46 degree pitching wedge. And then, so a degree weaker, but the 7 iron is 33 degrees, so 3 degrees weak compared to the 790s, which does make up for some of the kind of stuff I hit into my net. I have the full swing kit out there, I was hitting some shots, between the two, and distance-wise between the two was significant. And 3 degrees there, totally different CG and stuff like that between the two are pretty massive. And the 790 is this guy right here, but I think it looks good. It's pretty simple, it's pretty clean. I think they did a good job with it. I think from address it looks really, really good. I feel like they took a little bit of offset out of it. The top line's a little thinner, and it looks a little shorter heel to toe. It's a little squared off in the toe, more squared off than previous previous irons, but overall I think a really good shape. The whole thing is this kind of satin finished stainless, and then it's got a little bit of brushed kind of chrome that runs through the middle. But I like the way they did the kind of the muscle back look on this. It does look really clean and really nice, and I actually like it a little better than the 770. The 770, of course, has kind of that little chrome toe out there, kind of aka kind of that stealth look a little bit. I know it's kind of got a little more angle, but I like it a little more than the 770 in terms of the back cosmetic. And from a dress, honestly, when you set them down next to each other, the 770 almost looks like it has a thicker top line. It definitely has a little less offset. Same thing's got a little more squared off toe. But when you look at the top lines next to each other, the 790 looks thinner. It definitely looks thinner. And I would say if you could, and the blade length is just slightly longer. It's not crazy, but it's slightly longer on the 790. Sole width is very, very similar as well. The 790 is just a little bit thicker, but again, I mean, unless you're putting them next to each other, you don't notice a huge, huge difference, but the 790 is a little bit thicker there. So in terms of visually, you could really combo this setup really easily. You could definitely play, a set of 790s in, say 4.5 or 4.56, and then jump down to the 770s on, 6 or 7 through pitching wedge, depending on how you want to set it up. They're going to look very, very similar. They're going to blend well. And I know, this combo set thing has kind of gotten bigger and bigger, and more people are kind of, talking about it, doing it, or promoting it. And I think we're going to see more and more of these blended sets because it's kind of a good way to get really good launch conditions in one's, in the top end of the bag, and then different set of launch conditions in the bottom of the bag depending on the player. So the 770s look really good. I like this. I mean, I've been a 770 fan. I played the previous version 770 for almost most of a year, and then when I moved on to some other items. So, but the new 790 looks really good. As I said, I kind of like the thinner top line on it, or the thinner look of it. I just think they did such a good job to pack as much forgiveness as they have into this thing, and as much distance into it without making it massive or huge or anything like that. They've really kept it compact, and I think this one here, especially with that thinner top line, you're going to see a really wide range of players play this thing, from scratch players all the way up to, mid to high handicaps are going to have these things in the bag. This is going to be, I think, TaylorMade's bread and butter iron for 2023. But really, really solid looking. Really like the aesthetics. I think they did a great job with them. And, you're going to see these things are going to sell. They're going to fit a lot of golfers. So we're going to see a lot of people with them. Now, I did hit them outside into my net. Like I said, I have about 15. It was basically 15 shots each as I was hitting the new Apex Pro stuff as well. And then I also, had to get a few driver swings in. So I've hit a few. So we'll go through and jump through just like a couple of the numbers. I do want to say sound and feel. I think the 790 is actually just a little bit softer, a little bit quieter. To me, the 790, as you're hitting them kind of side by side, the 770 seemed like it had just a hair more click to it, and it was just a little bit louder when you hit balls with it. The 790 is very, very soft and has kind of a very muted sound, as well as you can really feel the ball jump off the face. Like when you hit it, you can kind of feel like that face is really kind of shooting the ball off there. You can feel the ball compress. It was just pretty interesting. I thought the 770 was going to definitely be the better feeling one. I kind of think the 790 feels the best. Now, we'll see when we get on course, how they feel, and when you're actually hitting them on grass instead of a mat and stuff like that. But these 770s seem really, really good. So I was hitting these side by side, so 770 versus 790, and distance-wise, it's a 9-degree difference, or 9-yard difference between them. So 162 was my average with the 7-iron with the 770, which is pretty much right where I usually am. And then my average 7-iron with the 790s was 171, which is pretty crazy. Now, I did have some really good shots with the 770. I mean, some 167, 165s, and then even a 168, which is the longest. But I had a couple 155s in there as well. A 160, a couple of little ones there that usually my miss lately has just been low on the face. So a little bit lower on the face, the ball would come out and it would just, the carry number would drop. Where the 790, I think the lowest shot I had was a 162, and the furthest one I had was a 178. So, but if you just go down the list, I mean, it's just, 163, 171, 62, 175, 77, 73, 72, 167, 171, 170. I mean, it's just, you go down the list and everything is mid to high 160s, if not 170, with distance-wise, carry distance, with the 790s, just everything. And honestly, I hit these pretty well. When I was hitting them, I didn't hit too many misses, but even the couple misses I had, which again, a little low on the face, a little out on the toe, as I've been kind of coming down on the ball a little bit from out to in, and those shots there seem to be very consistent in terms of distance. Like I said, you get a drop of like a 162 or something like that, or 163, but those shots were not hit dead center and still went a long way. So if you're somebody looking for some distance, these things definitely definitely have some carry to them. Spin between the two, the 790 is going to spin less, and it definitely did. It was about 400 RPM difference. So for the 770, I was looking at 6,138 RPMs. Now this is off a mat into a net with a full swing kit, and I was hitting Srixon Z-Star golf balls, previous generation Z-Stars. Excuse me. And it was really consistent in terms of spin. I mean, the lowest spin I had was 5,800, 5,860, and the highest one was 64. So really 600 RPM between the two. And I'm a guy who kind of hits it a little bit left, so I tend to be a little bit lower spinning. And every once in a while, kind of flare one out to the right or hit it just a little bit right. So really, I mean, 600 RPM and 15 shots difference. For me, isn't that big because I'm not a robot. I'm not gonna hit it dead straight every time, the same exact every time. But really consistent. Everything, in those high 5,000s, majority of everything in like kind of that 6,100 to 6,200 range is really what I saw there with the 770. And then when you get into the P790, definitely lower. Everything like I said, the average there 57.34, and I did have the highest shot there, which was almost similar at 64.10, was the highest, and the lowest was a 55.36, or I'm sorry, 53.15 is the lowest. So definitely a bigger range there. We're talking basically 1,100 RPM different, but almost everything as you scroll through here, there's only a couple balls in the sixes. Everything is 56, 58, 55, 53, 55, 55, 58, 59, 55, and 56. I mean, so everything is pretty much in those 55s. So definitely, lower spinning on every shot. Like I said, the high and the low, not too different. Or the high is not too different. The low is definitely different, but overall, definitely 500 or so RPM different. When you look shot to shot and you start going through each shot, you notice that these are definitely lower spinning, and of course they didn't have the same shaft either. The 790's got the stock Dynamic Gold 105 S300, and the 770 had a KBS Tour stiff, KBS Tour 120 in it. So a little different shafts. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the same exact shafts, but it's still a little bit of apples to apples. So spin-wise, 790 definitely lower spinning so far for me. Ball speed on the two, you're looking at a 5 mile an hour difference. So the 790, 119 miles an hour on average, and 114.4 on average for the 770. So 4.5 are miles per hour different. But this one here again, even on the misses, it didn't drop crazy. I mean, the highest I had was 122.6, and this is a 7-iron. And I think I'll go look at we'll do the swing speed, but I think it was like mid 80s for both of them. But 122.6 was the highest, and the lowest one I saw was a 114.7. So the lowest shot with the 790s was basically my average with the 770s. So these things still produce a ton of ball speed. Shots in the high, 119, 118, 120, 122.6, 119.8, 119.9. I mean, those are the well-struck shots, a 121.5. And the poor shots were in the 115 to 117 area. The ones that I missed were in kind of that range. So still carried a ton of ball speed, still really hot across the face. I haven't known anything with any like hot spots, flyers, anything like that. But I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them to the course and play them as well. So we'll get a little bit of action going there and see how they perform out of the rough, out of the fairway, all around the course there. But ball speed really, really high. It was basically the highest out of everything. In terms of irons, I was hitting the Callaway Apex Pro stuff. Now, that's the Apex Pro stuff. The 790 is a totally different iron than even Apex Pro. So, highest ball speed by far when it came to any iron that I was hitting today. Club speed, let's just see. Yeah, I mean, I swung the 790 a little bit faster. 85.1 was my average. 84.4 was my average with the 770. So swung the 790 just a little bit quicker. Again, you could be looking at lighter shaft, different shaft, things like that. So not a whole massive difference though. But I am swinging the 790 just a little bit faster. Smash factor between the two, as you would expect, 790 beats it. 140 smash factor versus 136 with the 770. And again, when you go in and start looking at individual shots, I mean, you got some 147s, 145s, but everything was pretty much around 142, 143. If I look through like these 15 shots, I mean, yeah, there's a 140. Yeah, there's a 134. There's two 134s, and you know, just one 140, and then everything 142, 143, 142, 143, 144, 147, 145. I mean, there's just everything is in those 1.4s. It's just a really hot. And again, I'm not a robot. I don't hit it off the dead center every shot. So seeing some variation there is expected from a guy who's a 9.8. And then you just see more fluctuation when you get into the 770, and also like the 770, kind of the highest I got was 141 in terms of smash. So definitely behind the 790 in terms of speed. And then when you get into launch angle between the two, basically coming out a little bit different, as you'd expect. I mean, a 3-degree difference, 18.8 degrees for the 7 iron, for the 790 7 iron, 21.2 on the 770. And again, there's a 3-degree difference in club, and that's almost 3 degrees there. But, you know, when you go through again with the 790, it's just so consistent. I mean, 21.2 was the highest, and the lowest was 16.2. So, I mean, there's definitely a 5-degree difference there in terms of, you know, my shots, what I hit, but almost everything there is a 19, an 18, or a 17. I mean, almost everything. There's a 20.3, there's, a 16.2, there's, 17 and a half, and there's a couple low ones in there, but for the most part, everything was in that basically 19-ish range when you look at the majority of the shots. And again, I tend to hit a little more left, which produces lower flight shots anyway. And then the 21 degree for the 770, pretty much everything was in the 20s. It basically ranged from 20.3 to 21.8. I got a couple 21.8s in there. So really very consistent in launch on the 770, where the 790 had a little more variation, but overall that hotter face and all that, made up for some of those shots. So really, a 9-yard difference. I mean, it's basically a 1 club difference between 790 and 770 for me. Now that'll be interesting to see. I don't have a 770 pitching wedge, but it'd be interesting to see where that pitching wedge goes, because the pitching wedge again drops down to 45. It's still going to have the really hot face, and it's going to have the speed foam. It's going to have all that tech. So it'll be interesting to see if that has as big of a distance gain as, say, the 7 iron. What I assume is going to be the 4 or 5, whatever irons as well. Those things are going to be pretty hot and pretty long. So when I take them out of the course, definitely going to have to think about that these are about a club longer than what I usually hit. So, Apex, actually let's see Apex, because Apex, how high are we going here? I mean, really the difference is 4 feet, 107 with the 770, 103 with the 790. And the 790, when you look at it, I mean, the peak of 114, there's a bunch of, 111s, whatever, but everything's right around, between 108 and 99 is majority. There's 112, 109, there's a 92, and 82, so that bad boy came out low. I probably hit that a little thin on the face. I'd be willing to bet the smash on that shot was probably pretty low as well. Yeah, that's a 134. So that was kind of hit low in the face and coming out low. But really, I mean, apex-wise, pretty consistent there. And then if I look at 770, I mean, had a 97 in there, which I hit low, but also had a bunch of 112s, 113s, 110s. So overall peak height, when you look at the highest shots, they're pretty similar. I just did it more often with the 770 as opposed to the 790. And a lot of that could just be the 3 degrees weak that the 770s are. So I'm excited to get these out to play with them. I know that, I, again, like the feel, like the sound. I kind of like them better than the 770, to be honest, in that aspect. So we'll see how they go. But I'm going to play these tomorrow in the league, and it should be pretty interesting. I'll report back with how they are out on the course. And who knows, maybe we'll play them this weekend as well. I think we'll play Sunday with my dad. So we'll get a little bit of golf in. But that's my initial thoughts on the 770 or the new 790, especially comparing it to the 770. And we'll see how they go when I get on the course. So we're going to take that. With that, I'm going to kind of end it. I know I kind of talked fast through this one. I don't know why, but I'll try to slow it down for next week. But yeah, such a good day, and hopefully play some good golf tomorrow. So hopefully you guys had a great week. Hopefully you continue to have a good weekend. Get out, play some golf. Yeah, please follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, please, or if you want to watch on YouTube, Golf WRX Radio, just search that. Please like, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do. That'd be awesome. And then wherever you're listening to the podcast, if you could like, subscribe, whatever, that'd be great. So anyway, hopefully you guys have a great one. I had a great week, had a great weekend. Have a good week, and we'll talk next week.